This is where the money started pouring in.
Gay men.
Gay men, single, older women. I mean, you name it.
Older white guys.
Yeah, I mean, everybody under the sun.
Right.
Everybody under the sun.
And this is would you call this fetish? I mean, people that like certain things, and that's kind of what this...
Man, everyone's got their own cup of tea, but
right,
to an extent.
No judgment here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
but the thing
is that what it is?
I'm proud of us. Yeah. I'm a leader. This is my arena.
Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. I've got a guest here today named Trent Williams. He's a very interesting person. He's a social influencer. We're going to find out what that really means. Trent, happy to have you here today.
Happy to be here, man. It's been a long time.
Let's talk about, first of all, tell us what a social influencer is.
Man, mine's a little bit more lifestyle, I guess, and mixed with fitness. So kind of just my life, the ins and outs of it, fatherhood, staying in shape, kind of dealing with life stuff, and just kind of, just lifestyle things.
Well, for people that don't understand, based on what you just told us, let's go back and where did the lifestyle part, where did the working out part of your social influencing start?
So, as you know Samantha. So she's fitness, grew up, my mom is a fitness trainer, all this
your
good old
mother.
Stuff. Yeah. And so that was just kind of embedded in me. And then sports and stuff like that. Social media didn't really get kick-started till I came back home due to, having little man Beckham, who's about to be 7 in January, I believe. And it just came out of just kind of posting random videos on TikTok, and it just kind of blowing up from there.
Let's talk about, what did you do after high school? You said sports. Did you play sports in college anywhere?
So, yes, I went to Henderson State to start off the first semester. And personally, it wasn't a fit for me. So I went and I walked on at SFA. And ended up earning a scholarship. Did not take care of my grades, unfortunately. I was just very immature at the time. So I did get lucky. God gave me another shot. TJC found out about it back home here and offered me a full ride if I could get my grades back up during that summer. So I came back to TJC to play. Played one season there. Picked up a couple big offers. A decently big deal in AA schools, but actually kind of got an offer out of it right before finding out I was having little man, which his mom was in nursing school at the time. So I prayed about it, just kind of sat with it a little bit and figured it'd be best that I stayed back to help her with that. And then that's kind of where I was twiddling my thumbs, like, what am I doing? Because when I went to school, it was just because I was playing football. I never really had an idea of what I wanted to do other than probably getting a business degree and going into medical sales like my pops.
Well, let's talk about, you mentioned little man.
Yeah.
You have a son?
Oh, yeah.
He's how old?
7 in January.
You were with his mother at the time?
Yeah, so me and her go way back from, I think, probably 5 years old. Just friends, same grade growing up, all that stuff. And then I think we started dating around 15, which was sophomore year of high school for me. And all the way up till probably 22, 23, maybe off and on until 24. So a lot of history there, not just like a little one night stand kid came out of nowhere.
Did y'all ever live together?
So we did not. Women, I think, especially at a young age when they end up pregnant, about to have a child, being around mom is probably a natural instinct. So she was there a lot of the time when I had my own place. No disrespect kind of to her, but she felt a little bit more custom and living there at the time. So.
I mean, were her parents concerned, about y'all's relationship and,
no.
and
So
any of that?
They saw us growing up and all that stuff. Obviously, they're very hometown, which there's nothing, wrong with that at all. But kind of with social media, when that started taking off, it had a lot of opportunities outside of Texas. And me being the person that I am, when I say opportunity like that, I want to go at it. She kind of sees that more as like a risk. It's not a normal 9 to 5.
Right.
Are you going to be able to support us? How long which is all normal things to think. I completely get it. But at the same time, there has
a lot of temptation on the road.
A lot of temptation on the road, man. And more so just it is a difficult thing to operate being in a relationship and going, doing social media, being able to travel, stuff like that. But she was always welcome to come on any of it. A lot of that stuff was covered and paid for and stuff like that. But when you're young and you're, used to being at the house and you haven't figured yourself out, which we hadn't both either, we just kind of decided that, I'm going to go do this. I kind of came back from football to help out here. Let me try this. And it was just a kind of, I'd say, somewhat mutual agreement. But back home in Texas, as you know, when people have kids early, whether it's an accident or not, you kind of just automatically get married. That's just what people do in the South.
Right. A lot of the times they do.
And that's not a bad thing, but respectfully for me,
I've done it once.
Yeah, there you go. But respectfully for me, I think it's very important that a kid grows up in a household that both parents are happy. Right. They see that they're happy. There's no tension there, rather than trying to force something that's not. And behind the curtain, it's toxic. The kids, that's all they're used to. And,
yes.
I didn't realize I had any trauma from kind of the same experience. I had two awesome parents that grew up together, two awesome parents. They were split since I was like 6 months old though. But a lot of that stuff is they were figuring out just, as I am as a dad now, they were new to it too, that there's stuff as I've gotten older that kind of has come up that I didn't realize I needed to deal with that affected me when I was a kid like that. But looking back and now doing it now, like I'm doing it now, there's a lot of stuff I even am in my dad for with the way he's probably handled things. And I don't know, feels like history's repeating itself in a bittersweet way, but I've learned a lot through it though.
Well, sometimes if you focus on the things, and I know I've done this in my life, if you focus on the things that you did not like about the way you were raised or about the things that happened to you growing up, then a lot of times that provides some motivation for you to be a different kind of parent.
Oh, 100%. I see people all the time, and I was a victim to this for a while, of you can have that victim mentality a little bit. You can say, well, it was this. And you can stay that way your whole life. Like genuinely, you just talk people, you see them and the same thing they talk about is, well, I'm doing with it's like the same. Like, I think you really have to rewire your brain a little bit. When it came to Abby, not to even bring her name up, like personal, but Beckham's mom,
right?
That was really hard for me to get to a point where
y'all were no longer together.
Yeah, where I could say, because I wanted
just
that
like my dad.
Yeah, to an extent, but I wanted that for Beckham, something I never had.
Right.
That whole home. But as a young person, you just think that just picture perfect thing that looks good on the outside is what the kid when they really just want a happy family. Like I know if he gets older, he'd much rather see us kind of go through what we went through, decide that we were happier separated, and then get to a point to where now he sees his dad's he's in love. He's happy when he gets home. A lot of that stuff that I think a boy needs to be able to see his dad, do.
The one thing that you'll probably have to do is you'll have to wait to get that appreciation until they get older.
Let's get into that because I saw you a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about that, how it comes full circle, but it takes a long time.
It does, they're young. They don't understand. But, if you just stay the course and keep doing what you're doing, as for me, I think it'll work out for you. What I'm interested in is I see you in football. I imagine you're working out all the time. Yep. I think you played wide receiver.
Yep.
And so you were probably, in pretty good physical shape. When did the social media stuff start? Were you still in football or was it after you knew that was over with?
Well, so what was funny is, man, I look back at it when I was playing ball, and as much as I loved playing football, man, I just kind of liked having fun too and stuff. That's just the age I was at. Some kids go into and that's all they want to do. Like I loved football. Like that mean I wouldn't show up if I was hungover the next morning. I would still go, but I just enjoyed my time. But social media came when I came back and decided not to go play football anymore from the JUCO I was at, to stay home to kind of be a dad. And that's when I kind of finally had to think about what is it that you really want to do, because you were just going to school for football just to kind of get your business degree and just kind of go from there.
Did you have any other jobs that you were working at while you were kind of finding this?
So what happened was when I went back to TJC, I worked night shift at UPS. So I'd work from midnight to 8 in the morning, and then we'd have practice like around probably like 10 during season.
That doesn't sound fun.
No. But it taught me a lot about myself. I mean, I went from, not going to any finals to the school I transferred from, just being a 19-year-old idiot kid, taking 20 hours, getting, A's and B's to get it up to a 2.5 GPA, to then working, a night shift job, to then playing and, find out how I was having a kid, all that stuff. But I learned a lot from that. Anywho, I get back, and during that time, while I was transitioning from the football to just going to school, I had an okay Instagram following, and I did personal training on that. And I was,
let me ask you, when you say you had an okay Instagram following, a lot of people know what Instagram is, but how would you develop a following outside just your friends and family?
So, back then, you got to realize I didn't get the way social media is now started popping off when I was getting right out of like college kind of area. So like it wasn't really prevalent like that. So Instagram at the time didn't have Instagram Reels. People didn't post videos on there. It was just pictures.
It was new.
Yes.
Kind of after Facebook.
Yes. So the only way in terms of the fitness space at that point that you could get any following was having like a crazy physique or being like super shredded or something like that. And then, you got, kids that are teenagers trying to, get your workout program following you and like stuff of that sort. So that's the only way you really could grow. But at the time, I was at like 12,000 followers.
How do you get 12,000 followers if you're just an ordinary Trent Williams from Tyler, Texas?
So here's the funny thing. We're getting down to the nitty gritty on kind of stuff that I was able to kind of finesse and do. At the time, there were some big fitness influencers that, they're in their 30s when I was just trying to get into it.
Did you bodybuild at all?
So I competed in men's physique a little bit.
Okay.
But that was kind of before similar time frame while I was trying to figure out, I'm not doing football. What else can I do to occupy my time? This is kind of all I've done.
Who am
I?
Shape?
Yeah. To an extent, yes. But like, man, anytime I worked out, man, like I worked out to get good at football, but I wanted to make sure I was like throwing muscle on to look good. Like that's what I mean. When I was young, that's all, I'd look up how to get, abs in 90 seconds, how doing crunches in the bedroom, like 100.
What about nutrition? Did that help rip you up or cut you up?
I took advantage of that in college. Cafeteria food was free, and I would I was eating like 6 meals a day.
But doesn't that bulk you up instead of, trim you, lean you down?
Well, when you're at that age and you're running gassers after practice and you're working out twice a day, you can't eat enough to put on weight barely. You know what I mean? Like your young metabolism going, if anything, as long as you're eating a lot and right, you're not, I wasn't getting anything. I was just kind of throwing on size a little bit.
I'm still lost on this.
Okay.
You're working out, your mom's a trainer.
Okay,
and somehow, you've got 12,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay, so
I'm still lost here.
Okay, so during this time of having, you got to remember, going from, obviously White House, close to Tyler, there's a bunch of schools, you got Lindell, Chapel Hill, all this stuff. So you already got a couple thousand people you're friends with throughout that following on social media. Then you go to a university, then you transfer to SFA, then you go to a JUCO. You're meeting more and more people there. You're getting a following in that sense. But on top of that,
just friendships.
Yeah, kind of friendships.
Nothing else.
Yes, kind of stuff like that. But what really kind of got me kind of picked up on that was there's a couple influencers that I followed at the time. That, they had a couple million followers. They would do these, 6-week training challenges, and whoever wins, they would post and tag those people on their main page. So I never did. This kind of sounds crappy. It was never a money prize or anything. So I never stole anything.
But you did.
But I would I would just take a picture from the time that they would, post the competition, and then just diet crazy, get in the best shape that I can, and then take a picture. And I wouldn't follow their program or anything, but I would just do my own thing because I thought I knew what I was doing, which I felt like I did. I was just kind of learning as I go with what worked for my body.
So you looked really good.
And so I would send it in and say, hey, here's my transformation. And then all of a sudden, a guy with like 6 million followers posted on the thing, and 10,000 people follow me that day. Like, oh, that's crazy. How'd you get that? Or like, blah, 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 blah. So it was kind of finessing it a little bit. But like, if it was like, hey, you win $1,000, but I would never, but I was trying to get out there, I was trying to figure out a way to grow.
Did people reach out to you for expertise in getting to look like that
that's when that started happening, and that's when I was like, I could probably capitalize on this. I grew up around fitness. I love helping people get in shape. Like I've always just buddies and stuff like that, just working out in general. And so I started an online program called Voltage Training. And I called it Voltage. I was high energy, electric. Like that's what I wanted to bring, kind of to the table. So I ended up finding a kid through a buddy of mine that was out in Minnesota that just builds websites. And he set me one up. It was like a quiz you take. If you're a woman, you select that. If you're trying to get in shape, like toned, build muscle, like whatever. And then it would, whatever it ended up answering would take you to that program. And then I'd get an email to my phone saying blah, 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 signed up with their phone number. They would be put in that group chat with that thing. And I just had it very set up easy. And like around like 2021 at this time, I found out I had a kid coming. So I was like, man, I got to hustle, figure something out.
Were you getting paid from that website?
So yeah, people were, I had like, it was very cheap. I mean, a lot of it was like college kids and high school kids that were my main client base. So I had to get something that was affordable, but I provided a lot of insight conversation throughout the day, all day. So I had to, charge a little bit. It's like $80 to $100, but I mean, it was like a 2-month thing, $50 a month, whatever. And when I first did it, I was probably making a good like $4,000 a month, like $1,000 a week, just doing that when I was like 2021, still trying to go to school.
Did you start this in the middle of COVID?
So this is where it gets, this is right before COVID starts to happen.
Okay. So we're talking about like the very beginning of 2020.
Yes. Or right before, I would say, I'm saying
of 2019.
So yes. And that's right around when the app TikTok came up. Now I was one of those people, I was a little older. I was like, I'm not getting that app. It hadn't really blown up yet.
Now you're all over it.
Yeah. Now that's kind of what I do and what has got me here today. And that's where everything really took off. But I made my bread and butter at the time through just the Voltage Fitness, program, workouts, stuff like that. And it was keeping me afloat.
Did working with that website and your responsibility to the people that signed up, did that help you later on in your TikTok videos and your social media strategies?
So I think just like anything, it was just something that was social media online that I did that I learned from and just got a better understanding of how the whole thing worked to help me for like the next thing I was going into. And that's where I lead to where COVID kind of starts to hit. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get this app TikTok. I hear about it, like all this stuff. But at the time I had the mindset, man, it took forever to get like 12,000 followers on Instagram. I'm going to be starting new on this platform, like what are the odds, blah, blah, blah.
But had you built much by way of followers on Instagram from the 12,000? I mean, you were...
I got it to like 16. I gained like 4,000 within like a 3-month time frame from people sharing their testimonials, tagging me as trainers. So I was slowly growing in that way. But to be honest, I liked training, but like I want to make some bread. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to provide for myself and live a free-willed life type of thing. That's always been my goal.
Because you didn't finish college, right?
So I have a... You're gonna kick my ass when I say this. I have a semester left before I get my bachelor's.
Now,
but I will say, blissfully and thankfully, I have not ever, other than maybe needing it to put up on my wall, felt like I've needed it since, and everything's kind of. I took the chance, and it's worked out.
Well, I mean, the economy's changing. A lot of people think that you don't necessarily need college.
Depending on what you want to do.
Depending on what, to be a lawyer,
definitely.
Like me, you have to be, a doctor, yes, but not necessarily everything.
Those are personally the very few things that I think you require architect for design, like all like stuff like that you really need to study and get into. But when it comes to like, I was just going to get my business degree so I can go into sales. I just felt like I would do really good at that. Right. I need to work with the company, get my foot in the door. I was going to go into medical sales like my pops.
Right.
And, he was a little iffy on it too. Not to say he didn't believe me, but
he didn't know if you'd follow through.
Yeah, for sure. And, anyways, I ended up I'm still going to school at UT Tyler while I'm in the Voltage, doing the Voltage online fitness stuff. And,
so I
download TikTok at the time. And I remember it saying, do you want to add any of your contacts to your following? Like, do you want to follow any of the people that, you have contacts with that are on TikTok, to start meeting? And I was like, I don't want to connect anything. I don't want anyone to know about this thing. I'm just going to scroll on the For You page, which is just all the videos that pop up when you scroll. And I'm just going to kind of see what's trending, how people are doing it. I'm going to study this thing. And then I'm just going to kind of start putting some stuff out there. Okay. So obvious at this time, you got to be smart, right? You got to, and my thing was like fitness.
My thing know what's working.
Yeah, my thing was like fitness, right? So obviously,
is the firfirst post, Trent Williams shredded in a Speedo?
No. So here's the funniest
thing. Is that
thing.
The first one?
Back in the day, TikTok, and I'm 28 now, so I look back when I was like 22, 23, and posting what was trending, like everyone thought was cool. And then you look back, you're like, what? It's like these stupid little dances, and like just stupid stuff like that. I'll still do stuff in the gym, but I would just be mixing that to then kind of, it would just be like trendy dances and stuff. I'm not, I don't know how to dance, but they'd be just little choreographed stupid stuff. that like people would do it. And I'm telling you, so I did it as a joke and it kind of started popping off. Well, when I would post back then, TikTok wasn't saturated yet. The app had just got going. So like there was times I would have a video get like 3 million views and I'd gain like 70,000 followers in like 3 days. It was insane.
And how long is this after you've decided to just simply download the TikTok app?
This is maybe 2 weeks in.
Okay. So you're thinking, wow.
That's the thing. The app wants to push your content when you first start a page out there to hopefully get views, get traction so that you as a user will keep using the app. Well, for me, I started figuring it out and I didn't do it just for fun at the time. I wanted to do it for fun, but I wanted to figure out how to make money through it. So like when a video you share or when you post starts getting a lot of shares and the likes compared to the views are a good ratio, like I would know within 10, 20 minutes of posting the video if it was going to get over 1 million views or not.
And if it did, how would you make any money on TikTok?
So this is where it was just kind of fun. I didn't know how I really would make any money. And then I finally put my email up in my TikTok bio because I see these other creators that I'm seeing. I'm twisting their content to make it kind of Texas based, like the stuff I do.
When you do this, are you expecting someone to reach out to your email?
Yeah, for like business inquiries and stuff like that. So it all started happening. I was starting to get DMs on Instagram because I didn't have my email at the time. They would go to my Instagram that was linked, and these companies would say, "Hey, we're a song promotion group, blah 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 blah. We work with these artists." And at the time, they were like, would you post a video for $200?
What would they want you to post about?
So then this is the craziest thing. Whatever you think's going to get views, whatever you do, like if it's singing to the phone, whatever. I'm 28.
It's their song that they're trying to push.
Yes. I've done songs like Morgan Wallen, Little Baby, like all types, Zach Bryan, even these big artists. You don't have the radio anymore. That's not how you get views.
Right.
So even though you're a big artist, you want your new song to get trending, you need it trending on social media platforms. So you reach out to creators at the time. Now, obviously, when I was this small, I wasn't working with those guys yet.
Right.
But when I first started, it would be like up and coming artists that wanted to be artists like me, wanted to be a content creator that had saved up money through venues and shows that, had a $3,000 budget that could, pick somebody with some decent following, a couple $100 just to post something. Well, at the time, I didn't really know my value. I was still figuring out my value with my following, the views, what I really could like charge to do this. Cause I'm busting my butt for $100 for a 2-month client on training. And then someone saying, here, I'll give you $200, just post like whatever, send us the draft before you post it and we'll PayPal you the money.
Okay. But when they say just post whatever, do they mean post something with this song in it or just post whatever you want to post?
Some artists, that's a good question. Some artists would give you the free creativity just to come up with whatever you want. I think those are the smartest people because you might have an idea to how you want it portrayed, but it doesn't matter if it's not going to get views. So you should have the person, in my opinion, some of them just be like, post whatever you think is going to get views, post it, right?
How do they connect what you post to their song and that artist?
Okay, so the thing is, it doesn't have to really connect even through necessary lyrics. Like, for instance, if it was like a sad country song talking about miss and ex, they would say something like, could you put in like, here's an example, here's a couple of videos of other creators, like a word and text on screen saying, blah, 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 using these lyrics. And sometimes they'd be real picky and want you to do the exact thing, acting like you're like whatever. And like, I get that. Somebody would just be like, hey, here's the video. We just need this getting views. If it blows up, gets 2 million views, there might be other people that click on the sound, save it, use it for their views, and then all of a sudden you've had 20,000 people use your sound. And that's how it really gets trending and stuff. So at the time, it'd be $200 for a video, which I'm like, crazy, still great. But I was like, that's insane. Sure. Well, I'm in my last semester or first semester of my last, what am I trying to get at?
What time frame? Where are we? Are we in the fall of 2019 or are we in 2020?
I think, no, we're in 2020. I'm figuring out if I still want to be at UT Tyler or not.
As a student or?
Yeah,
because they don't have a football program.
Yeah, no. At this point, I had hung the cleats up.
Was your son born at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
but at that time,
you and your ex, y'all aren't getting along good. It's probably
at the time we were kind of fine yet. We were still fine. Of course, she was a little skeptical, like how are you going to provide? Because it's not the typical 9 to 5 type of thing.
There's pressure. You don't have a 9 to 5. You have a baby. She's saying, Trent, how are you going to pay the bills?
Well, and at the time too, the 9 to 5 thing wasn't a deal. I think that's what scared her the most. But my following I hadn't started getting offers yet to, be flown out to a fitness event or a protein bar company or anything like that yet. So that's when everything kind of started unraveling a little bit.
Because you couldn't say anything about what your plan was at that point.
Well, not only that, I didn't really know what it was. I just know that I was still doing the online fitness thing. I was making probably $1,000 a week doing that. And then, every other week someone was reaching out for $250 promo. That was an extra $500. Well, then as the following started growing, I had a company, hey, did you do this song promo? The rate's $400. I'm like, yeah. And then, 2 days later, I got 2 of those that week. That's an extra $800. Well, then that started happening a lot. And it's like, I'm making $1,000 extra a week on this TikTok app. I'm making almost $8,000 and I haven't even got out of college yet. I think this thing's just going to keep going if I really hustle at this. I think this is just what I'm going to do. Fuck it.
Let me get in the mind of Abby.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Devil's advocate.
Are y'all communicating clearly? Because it would seem that someone close to you would see that there was, progress being made.
Yeah.
Albeit in something that people from East Texas more than anybody probably don't understand.
Yeah. No. And then that was the biggest thing, and nothing against any of them.
But I mean,
at all.
We don't.
But her mom was, your head's in the clouds. You need to get back down to reality.
Real way to make a living.
You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I can always put myself in their shoes as like their daughter.
Musician?
They thought
you were I'm
similar.
I'm going to go be famous, but I hadn't made it yet.
Yeah, exactly. And, but I did already kind of have the,
you had
the proof the past 4 to 5 months of doing it, where I'd, every month I was grossing some more and more income, and it was, it was starting to do good.
More than you were making at UPS.
Oh, way more.
So I'm wondering, where was the friction?
So I think the friction comes from, the following that I was growing came with like a lot of attention, I guess, a little bit too.
Was it a little risque?
No,
I mean,
to an extent, I hate to say this because
your shirt's always off.
Yeah. I hate to say this too, because like when you're young, there's like sex sells, stuff like that.
All right. I mean,
but in terms of fitness and stuff, fitness is great. I love helping people. I still did that. But if a video can blow up and I can get paid, $2,500 to just do a thing to where I'm throwing corn out with my shirt off with my cowboy hat to a country song,
right?
And it's getting a lot of views, then that's something I can just set up when I'm going out to season. And I just did it last week, throwing corn out, and it did good. But I just did it, and I just set up my video and then edit it later when I get home. But I'm still, doing the stuff. I was just trying to figure out being smart, getting what people want, what's going to get views. Because if I just sit there and say, hey, you can lose 30 pounds in 2 swipe, right. Everyone's saying that. You gotta get someone in, like hook them somehow, right. Get them there, and then you can kind of go a little deeper with,
So this is different than TikTok from Instagram, because followers are not what matters. What matters is somebody wants you. Well, they want to pay you to post something about them.
Well, not only about them, that's the most stressful thing, in my opinion, about being a content creator, is if your money's reliant on your relevancy and your views. So you could have blown up during COVID, and there's a lot of creators like this that blew up during COVID, had this one little niche thing that they were doing, whether it was something super silly, they're getting a crazy following with or what. You can't do that forever. People are going to get tired of it.
It's called a trend.
Yeah, it's just a trendy thing that people are going to get tired of it. So these people that gross these 4 million followers, you look at them today, but now, they don't even get over 10,000 views on their videos. Well, you think they're getting any song promo or any promotion, brand deals, anything like that? No. So yes, a following, you do want a following, but you want a good fan base of a following. Like you want,
people that are interested to see what's next.
Yeah, you want to, if you're going to invest into something, if I'm going to pay this money for this person, is this video going to get views? Is it going to be worth it?
Right. And so you mentioned, musicians, songs, right? And you also mentioned brands.
Yeah.
Are those the primary?
It started with brand deals, song promos at the beginning of it all while I was still doing online training stuff. And that as the following grew and the views stayed up, I started realizing, well, if my past 3 videos have 1 million views and this company comes to me to offer me, $400 for this video, I can say respectfully, the past 3 videos I posted are over 1 million views. I don't think $400 for 1 million people to view it is enough money at all, you know? And I started realizing kind of like my worth, at least in the fitness or the content creation side and how that works. And then I ended up, you know, reaching out to some people that had management out in LA and kind of how they deal with stuff. And they have, you know, their emails associated to their management. So they work out all the deals for them. But it kind of started getting to where I was getting paid $1,000, $1,500 for these song promos. And that was happening a couple times a week, sometimes 3 times a week. And that would take me 5 to 10 minutes to do normally.
Do you have any management or anybody that you pay from the money that you make now?
So now, yes, it's shout out Media 8 Group if you're watching.
And they focus on online content creators and helping them manage contracts or deals?
100%. 100%. So
has it been helpful compared when you did it yourself?
Yeah, when I was doing it myself, like I say it like this, and I talked to a very successful manager out in LA, and he brought up like Justin Bieber, for example.
Do you think you lost money by not doing it sooner?
100%. 100%. He said, he was like, Justin Bieber is one of the most talented kids young at a young age with singing. He would have never be where he's at today if he didn't have a team of people like, even though Scooter Braun fucked him over, you know, later down the line, management, you know, all these other things that attribute to his success.
Right.
And I was just doing it kind of all by myself, thinking, you know, I can do it, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't also know how to negotiate too much, you know,
you don't really know what people are willing to pay.
100%. Exactly. And so I got now, like you said, today I'm with that Media 8 group, and I have a group chat that's strictly song promos. I have a group of people that work strictly with the brand side of things for like brands. And
what else do you have? You got music, you got brands, like a new energy drink, a new protein bar.
That's where I've always been. People have, you know, asked, like, you got a following. I know you make a lot of money for other people. Have you ever thought about making your own brand, you know, with something in the fitness side of things, something like that? I started a trucker hat company a couple years back that, you know, did really well. I could have invested into it a little bit more.
What's the name of it?
It's called Desperado. Run Desperado.
Is it still open?
Yeah. So it's still a website, and it's just... Think about like chicks on a boat during the summertime or at a concert. You got like just the old knitted trucker hats that say, you know, save a horse, ride a cowboy, or cowboys make better lovers, or just funny old school sayings that like you would see at like a gas station shop. Hiring cap though. But that's just different colors, different sizes, all this type of stuff. So.
Did you outsource the obviously the manufacturing, but the mail order shipping? How would that happen if people ordered it?
Well, so that's where it got a little bit out of hand for me, because I was doing that on myself out of the house. You know what I mean? Just kind of getting it started up. Which it wasn't like we were selling out right when I would, you know, post about it or anything like that. But when you're boxing up hats, putting stickers on them, doing all that, and you have 30 in a day, like that takes time.
Yes.
You know, and for me, I had all that time because the money I was making was just on the phone talking to clients, and then song promos that would take me 10 minutes. So I did have the time, and I did kind of do it like that at first.
And you could only make so much a hat.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
100%.
I mean,
and I had a good market, you know, margin between the two. And I spent a while getting like a good material hat to stuff like that. But it was a side gig, and I've done numerous little stuff like that throughout social media that's kind of helped me save up and stuff of that sort. But now a lot of it with the following that I have too is like, I talked to you the other day about Floyd Mayweather's new supplement company and stuff like that, being able to do stuff like those type of things. And,
cause the products, that's where it is, right?
Oh, 100%.
Where you get called and your followers, get to see that product because of you, right? And that's kind of what you're selling.
Correct. Also, not to mention, this is kind of a funny thing. TikTok's limited it a little bit, but back in the day, TikTok live, going like live on your TikTok, you'd make bukus of money doing that. I mean, there'd be times of being on there for an hour, I'd make like $2,200.
And how would that 2,200 get made?
So you're not, it sounds absolutely ridiculous because it is. And I didn't even believe it was happening. I still don't realize
people would
how
subscribe just to watch you live?
No, the live's free, but like you can send gifts. Okay.
What kind of gifts?
So like gifts are like it's the silliest thing. It's almost like a kid's game. It sounds like, but like,
oh, okay.
There'd be like roses would be like worth 20 cents. And like you would have somebody that could link their credit card up to their TikTok account. And if they really support a creator or something, they could just send a bunch of roses, or like they would send like this thing that looks like a galaxy that's worth like $25, different stuff worth a lot. And so, I would get on there, man, I'm a hustler. You feel me? So there was one night when I started just making, there would be creators that they would battle. And what that looked like is you would get on a split screen live with another creator. Y'all would talk or whatever. And whoever gets sent the most gifts, especially whoever gives you the most money, that person wins. But
that sounds like a rap battle.
Yeah, not even a rap battle, but it sounds like kind of like, please give me money. And I've never asked for money, never did it. So I just went on like it was a personal FaceTime call. So I'd hop on, I'd be in the kitchen cooking, whatever. And I would notice that I would get off after being on there for 45 minutes. I made like $280. Like people had just tips. So I was like, let me try to figure out an interesting way to kind of squeeze the juice out of this thing right now while it's so like, you're able to make so much.
You could have just worked an 8-hour shift at the restaurant for that 280.
Yeah, 100%. And it's hilarious now. I've saved a lot of the money I've made throughout the years because I know this isn't going to be a thing that lasts forever for sure.
Because you mentioned the content creators in COVID that had millions of followers that now are irrelevant.
Yeah. So I've thankfully somehow managed to still stay relevant, but I think it's because I've come in a way of I never really had one just nail on the head niche. It was
like I did video.
Well, no, it was just more be like, I do fitness stuff, and then the next video, if my shirt was off doing fitness stuff, then I would do some father and son like stuff. At the time in the relationship, I would do relationship stuff.
The beer belly could be deadly to the careir.
A lot of those women nowadays are like them dad bods. You know what I'm saying?
After poor Patrick.
No, I'll take that dad bod.
I'm just kidding. But it's funny that they would suggest that he had a dad bod.
100%. But that's kind of the whole deal too, is it's like that kind of the fitness thing in the space and kind of using that to my advantage a little bit. But I recycled stuff. Like I said, I'm smart enough to know that if I did a video with my shirt off back in the day that blew up, don't just beat the dead horse and post it again. People might see it and be like, cool.
Save it and use it later?
Not save it and use it later, but if I just have my shirt off, then I'm doing like something with my son because that's still part of my life. And then another video or a post would be about if say the time I was in a relationship, funny relationship stuff. Like before I circle back around to that type of deal to where people are still going to get that reaction. Like, boom.
What about tattoos or tattoo parlors? Obviously, you have some tattoos.
Yeah.
Is there any monetizing, tattoo shops, tattoo parlors, people wanting you to post something?
So, Inked Mag, they're huge out in LA or whatever. They follow me on TikTok and stuff like that, and they've reached out to do. I'm in one of the magazines on an interview talking about like the backstory of some of my tattoos and stuff. I haven't. Now I've worked with some buddies and stuff like that to where they gave me discounts and hooked it up with me by just like tagging them on their page. Let me come, pull up and, do that for you. But
well, let's talk about some of the wilder things. Like, I don't know if you are comfortable disclosing maybe the largest payout from a post or a gig or anything that was directly related to your social influencing.
All right. So might as well, this is a little unfiltered. So we might as well talk about it. So something I slightly skimmed over because it wasn't really anything before I even bring any of this up. All my content on my biggest platforms that I've ever posted that has gained me the following that I gained was from, either doing some thirst trappy cowboy stuff, fitness tips or working out things, being a single father and son, people falling for that fantasy of a single dad.
An inspiration, you're right.
Yeah, or just if I was in a relationship stuff.
Trent was providing hope.
But it was just kind of like all that. But at the time, so I want to revert back before I get to kind of your idea of kind of when like the financial side of it kind of really blew up, was the brand deals started kind of coming in as my following when it wasn't just song promos anymore. It was brand deals. So Bear Bell's protein bars was the one that's prevalent today that was just getting started up based out of Santa Monica. That I think they started paying like $2,500 a month, which is nothing crazy, but it was only like one Instagram story post, a week, and then one actual hard post with the picture of the protein bar and like in a post a month.
Okay. So
that takes 10 minutes.
You'd have to keep a calendar, right? Because you'd say, hey, I owe this company one every week.
So I would just write down the list of who I'm working with, and then I would just kind of what I need to do and then just kind of check those off. And a lot of times I could kind of do that at the beginning of the month. I'd post a little bit extra with them just to help them out. out and hopefully keep a longer standing relationship with them over time.
How would they pay you? Do they wire you the money?
So this is why so this is why nowadays PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, anything over $500 has to be taxed. And all that happened due to, in my opinion, the social media thing coming up, because that's how I was getting paid.
Right.
$1,000, $1,500 here and there. And I mean, I wouldn't write any. I mean, that was just like being paid cash almost. Like back in the day, they didn't really do anything about it. Now they can't really do that. So they'll go through like, they'll wire the money, you sign deals. It's very formal and like, not sketch. I mean, I have an agency I'm working with that handle kind of.
They took care of all that. The lawyer in the contracts, everything.
But here's the part I want to get to too, which is kind of funny.
Is this the biggest payout ever?
No. Yeah. So, and I'm kind of walking on eggshells here. So,
I mean, it's a little bit of is there a kind of a sexuality aspect to it?
So here's the deal. I was making at the time doing the fitness training, the song promos, the brand deals, stuff like that, the TikTok lives. I was doing fine financially. I felt good. I was comfortable, like all that, right? Well, as you get into the mix out in LA, you get with management companies and stuff like that. As people start asking me, hey, we started OnlyFans. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know sure if I'm going to do that. I don't want to do it. They're like, no, you don't have to. You have the following. You don't have to post anything you don't want to. But I guarantee you could generate an extra like 10 grand a month. And I'm like, oh, there's no way.
Because I don't get the OnlyFans started off and it seemed to carry a sexual connotation.
100%. And that was my biggest thing in terms of getting into that space was that, whether I'm doing anything on there or not, what's going to be assumed just being associated with is going to be assumed.
And people are going to reach out.
100%.
Fetish people.
All kind of
people are going to be reaching out, right?
So here's the deal with that. This went like this. This is where the money started pouring in.
Gay men.
Gay men, single, older women. I mean, you name it.
Older white guys.
Yeah, I mean, everybody under the sun.
Right.
And everybody under the sun.
And this is would you call this fetish? I mean, people that like certain things. That's kind of what this.
Man, everyone's got their own cup of tea, but
right,
to an extent.
No judgment here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But the thing
is that what it is?
And I'll get into it because it's really funny how it works. The way it would start when I first started was like the first year probably I had it. As long as I went viral on a video and I had my link up in my bio to my OnlyFans, let's say it gets 2.5 million views, all right? And it was me picking up a sack of corn feed or something, throwing it down or whatever. I might have 2,500 people that day off that video go to that OF page and pay $12 to subscribe to hope to see what they want to see. Now that's not saying if you paid that $12, you're just going to see me and my full birthday.
Okay. Is OnlyFans, and I don't understand this, I'm 58.
Yeah.
But OnlyFans it's kind of teasing. Like some people are totally naked, some people aren't.
So a lot of it too, like when you have really big creators and they have a huge following and they don't really need to do it, but they're just trying to, that's why, I mean, you have rappers, Tyga, or like random people that have just started an OF that end up making just as much as they made in their career by, going on there acting as if they're going to do something and they're not. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And they don't do it.
Yeah. Or it's a PG-13 thing. Like I could see this in a movie, I got scammed.
All right, but
to get to your question, like the most with brand deals that month, song promos, working with them through OF and accumulated, it was like 122.
All right. So 122,000 in 1 month, right? And this is solely from content creation. That is you doing videos for somebody.
Yeah.
And so that month, at the end of that month, I mean, what are you thinking? Wow, what's happening here?
Well, so at the time, personally, I was already before this agency. I was still making decent money, and I not to say like I was unhappy with what I was making or anything like that, but I just felt like I could squeeze more of what social media, the whole 9 yards. And I went, like I said, to kind of get back prior to like all this happening, 6 months prior to this, maybe 8 months prior to it, I'd been going through, not going into detail, just court with my kid, custody, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. So you were having there was some family trouble And did it have anything to do with the social influencing you were doing and stuff on your page?
I would say no, just for the sense that it was never a problem until the point where we're not together anymore.
Right. I mean, do you think that, her and her family, your character became more of an issue when you weren't in-house around or with her?
Yeah, and I think really the simple part.
And I'm not saying that like you have poor character.
Yeah.
I'm saying that character in quotations.
No, I think yes, in a way, which was kind of ironic to me because they've known me as a kid since I was like 5 years old. But I think a lot of it just simply came down to it was providing a lot of opportunity to go out of state, see the world a little bit, meet people, connect. And, there's just people that are very homebody and don't.
You were traveling a lot. But I mean, in fairness, your son was too young to be going anyway, wasn't he?
So here's my idea. And first off, if there's anything, and I say this all the time, that I think I was put on the world to do is be a dad. I love being a dad, man. I love it. I mean, it probably comes with a lot of, bullshit, but I love it.
Just give yourself some time.
Yeah.
Wait till your kids get to be about 16, 17, 18 until they're 25.
And then they hate you till then. Yeah.
Yeah. It's real fun. Okay.
Well, where were we going with that though? Sorry.
All right. So, you're having there's some custody issues, and I'm assuming that you have some custody of your child.
So at the time, it's a whole thing. But at the time, I had a place back home here in Texas, and I had a place in Santa Monica, California that I had residency. I had proof of residency in both. The reason I say this was when we went to court. And I'm not going to get too much into detail.
Yeah,
the whole thing's
that's
BS.
Okay.
But when we went to court, the only thing that kind of limited me was we were drug tested, which at the time, I'm not getting off in anything crazy, anything like that. But, I'd smoke joints in the evening, especially when I was out in California before bed, stuff like that.
It's legal.
Anybody it's legal. It's like anyone having a cocktail or something, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, in California, that's
so, but we're in East Texas at the time when this is happening. And so they see they have some marijuana in my system, which wasn't.
I imagine they don't see it the same as California.
Yeah, which, I 3 years ago they didn't. I think it'd be a lot different even now. I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but I don't think it'd be as serious as it was when we were at least going through it at the time. And that limited me getting the schedule that I was wanting until the final hearing, because the judge was like, you just got to be clean of marijuana before blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yes, sir. I get it. But during that time, I could only see my kid every Thursday for 2 hours and every other Saturday for 6. Yeah. So that's when I first kind of went down a rabbit hole of depression, I guess, for the first time, kind of questioning, am I a good dad? What am I doing? Blah, 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 blah. Not only to mention, I'm 23 at the time. I have nobody's help financially. No one's offered to help me financially for any of these court costs or anything like this.
But you didn't need it, did you?
No, 100%. No, I didn't. And at the time,
I mean, you were making more than most people.
Yeah. So
in your family.
Yeah. So ironically though, being young and coming into $20K a month at the time at like 22, 23, never had a value for money per se, how to manage it really. I wasn't thinking, my management previous to the management that started making me all the money still takes 25%. You're not making, $1,000 a day anymore. They take 25% of that. Plus, if you golf every day and you eat out every day, you're not saving a lot. And it sounds so silly, but at the time that wrapped up with, overtime, $60,000 worth of court costs and then backdated child support. It's all stuff that ended up getting screwed on. Made it to where I ended up, and this is the whole point when you said mountaintop. I think 2.5 years ago, I got my car repoed. Because I couldn't pay it. And then I ended up basically homeless. This sounds ridiculous, but I'm not kidding. So I was out in Santa Monica at the time. My lease had just got up here. So technically I didn't have a place because I hadn't really planned yet. And when to get into something, and when that time had came, I didn't have the money to get in. You might think I just was horrible at managing money.
Did you have friends though? I mean,
so yeah. I mean, I still kind of did what I could, but I kind of just sat there and was like, man, because I was still doing the brand deals and social media and stuff like that. And I could have capitalized off my situation, but I just never went into detail about my personal life on social media and just kind of kept doing what I was doing. Kind of was basically like, you got to tighten down the hatches, man, and like get it together. You're making good, like, you shouldn't be in this situation. Now, granted, court and stuff like that was, I don't think any 23-year-old, no matter how much you make, should be paying anything like that. I mean, I'm not in the league, and I was getting charged as if I was paying all this money I was paying.
Yeah, family law is expensive.
It's expensive, and they go for your neck, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. Don't even get me started. I'm a lawyer, and the family lawyer to me is
yeah, you just kind of prey off people's.
Yeah, I mean, until they run out of money.
100%. And then, yeah. So we go through the whole court thing. That happens to me. I finally kind of get my head on straight a little bit. I'm like, look, and it was just a little hiccup.
Did you owe child support at this time every month also?
The craziest thing is we had agreed, I think I was paying like $1,000 a month. We hadn't gone to court yet. During this whole time when we really weren't together, it was that. And then, I was taking care of, any other thing she needed.
You were never married, though.
We were never married. But Beckham, or my little boy, never went around anything he didn't need when I was away that his mom needed to provide for him.
But did the Attorney General's office ever enter any orders for child support or anything like that?
No, so here's where I got screwed is when I got my own place, when we found out we were having a kid for us, she decided that being at her parents' house was better than that and never stayed or lived with me. So since even though I necessarily had no proof, even with pictures of her there, like of her name on bills or residency or anything like that, I had no proof other than, the $1,000 I gave her, which they could say, what was that for? Blah, blah, blah. But basically, I just got screwed on backdated child support. Okay, and her saying he didn't really do that.
So they set child support from birth?
So I got lucky, and they did it from when he was. Well, so they tried to do it from when he was like 3, and at the time he's 6. When this whole thing ended, and say like that with healthcare and like all this stuff.
Right.
At the time, I don't know. It's something I shouldn't have agreed to, and I think, with all due respect to my attorney that I had, who was, I think, awesome in his whole career, was just at the end of his leg. And just didn't know the social media realm, didn't really know how to, and I just think it just could have worked out a little bit differently. But anyways, we just settled at like $30K of backdated child support, which is absolute bullshit. I should never have to pay any. She was always taken care of. But I did it just to get over it. I mean, this was 2 years in the making of just wanting this done, something settled, and not having to deal with the law side of it anymore.
And y'all aren't talking at this point? I mean, during the court case and all that, y'all have fallen out. Y'all are not together. You're not going to be together?
So this was the settlement came in mediation. When the court thing happened and I realized I was going to have to go the next 4 months with that schedule with my kid.
Only one Thursday, 2 hours?
Yes. Until the final hearing. After about 2 or 3 weeks of that, I was knocking on her door at night, crying like a grown man, saying, please, let's just break this work. I don't want to do this anymore. We don't have to fight.
Did you really want to be back with her?
At that point, I really did. I thought that's truly what would just make all this go away.
Did you ever say, yes, come on in?
There was a couple nights she didn't. And then finally she did. And I had full intent of genuinely trying to make it work. Like, after going through that, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't feel like we ever really gave it a fair shot. You know what I'm saying? We never really sat down.
So then what happened?
So anyways, I talked to her. I'm like, look, if we're going to work, we can't have attorneys at our throats. Like, we can't be trying to make this work with attorney at our throats. Like, you got to get, I'll tell them I don't want to anymore. You got to tell yours, blah, blah, blah.
Because y'all are moving towards a divorce.
Yeah.
Not a divorce, but
just
a custody arrangement.
Yeah. With child support and like all this stuff.
So y'all are talking about, let's get the lawyers out of this. We don't need a custody arrangement. I'll take care of our son. I'll take care of you. But she probably had people saying, well, how long is that going to last? He could be gone and not come back.
Well, I think the whole thing really was, is he just trying to do this to get this done?
Right.
And, blah, blah, blah. Or is he really meaning it? And, yeah, I wanted to get it done so it could be done, but I really wanted to make it work. Like, my real intent was like, this is stupid. I think maybe I need to breathe a little bit. Maybe I've been traveling too much. I enjoy it all, but maybe I need to get back down to just kind of the roots. Beckham was still very tiny. So like you said, I was taking advantage of the traveling when he wasn't going to remember anything.
Y'all didn't move in together though, did you?
We never moved in together. Well, once that happened, I say we never did. I kind of moved in. She had a place. And so I kind of moved in with her in that first month or like the first 3 weeks, and nothing at her or anything like that. It's just one of those things. I get in there situated, sitting down thinking this is what I want truly. And you just painted this idea of somebody that you want them to be. And it's just not that. And it's just, finally, it was black and white reality hit me that like, hey, well, at that time, she thinks I've done manipulated her. You just did this to blah, 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 or whatever. And I'm still paying, it had nothing to do with child support to me. They maxed me out at $2,500. I was paying as much as Elon Musk pays in Austin. Like there was no really point anyways of trying to get in or out of it, in my opinion. Anyways, it is what it is
so
at the time being.
You said, hey, this isn't going to work, and you left?
Well, a lot of it was my biggest thing, and I'm a big believer, is like when you have someone that's a partner, they should be like your backbone, the one that believes in you more than anybody, and wants to like cheer you on in your endeavors and stuff like that in terms of like where you want to go.
Don't think it's harmful to, right?
100%.
Right.
100%. But when we really split, that was when just brand deals were going on.
Did she think that whole influencer, environment in California, did she think that was bad for you or bad for y'all?
I think,
because you're talking about parties, you're talking about probably, drugs and kind of a wild lifestyle. At least it's in her mind.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
That's what's portrayed out there too. And don't get me wrong, LA's a melting pot of all types of people that I think are lost souls trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And there's I have 3 or 4 people over the 5 years of being in and out of there that I still talk to that I think are genuine people that I've only met that long time frame.
Right. There's very few of them.
Because you're going in there, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? Right. It's a business thing. People are trying to get to the top. Yes. But for me, man, I never wanted to like necessarily even be out there or anything like that. I just wanted to enjoy the opportunities. These companies would add, pay an extra plane ticket so that she could be able to come. It was always offered like, we can do this together. This doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? But that's just, that wasn't her future plan.
Some people that's not what they like.
It's not what they like. And so that was fine. And I had to balance that out and weigh that out when I was kind of trying to make it work and realizing that, a lot of this is stemming from wanting to give, your kids something that you never had. And realizing that it could end up being more harmful than good by forcing it. And then realizing, you deserve to go chase after what you want. And it's not like it was a bad path or anything like that. I was down some evil road. It was just, I wasn't mature enough to say like, I'm not going to live a roommate relationship. You deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. And, let's just co-parent, which,
so you let it go. And then it's in this 6 months after this bottom that the deal struck, $122,000. It's the mountaintop, right?
Yeah.
In a short period of time.
100%. And during that time leading up to getting with that agency, what ended up being good for me was, like I said, kind of waking up and managing my money a little bit so that when I got because going broke made me think, I had the thought, this money will come in forever. You're young. You just think that. So whatever, I'll just spend right now. And I felt like I had another chance that came around, and I'm like, I'll be damned if I screw this up. And so,
you've been a little bit more,
so it's actually not to I've, and still to this day right now, I've lived very below my means ever since that money started coming in.
What about savings?
So the only thing, if you won't believe it, my place is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's $1,050 a month in rent. And, it's $12,000 a year. At times I was making that the first 6 days of the week, the month. Like I could just, pay that off. And I was just saving all my money. I wasn't buying any like big boy gifts, nothing like that. I said my Chevy 8 months back finally broke down on me that had like 220,000 miles on it.
All right. So you're not spending a lot of money.
No.
So what are you doing with the money that you do make?
So that's, I did a home flip 3 years ago with some of that money with a business partner / manager buddy of mine in Holly Tree. We bought a house. It actually was a pretty cool little project. We did no demo work. We bought a house for $45,000 cash, furnished it, and then 6 weeks later sold it furnished for $610 by an older couple out in DFW. And, that's the only big project within the 3 years of during this time, 2 years, I guess, that I did that. And that was right after that kind of came into that money.
All right. And so where are we now?
Right now, man.
Are we on a downward trajectory as you get older and social influencing gets harder for older people?
So I think where I'm at is social media came in when I was younger, obviously, and it's just grown. I think where I'm transitioning now is I'm 28. I have a 6-year-old kid. Thirst trapping and stuff's not really the biggest thing I do necessarily anymore. And kind of want to start kind of navigating my next venture, which might be, the home flipping process that I want to use all the money I've been saving to go into, like real estate and stuff. and just talk about it. Like people who want to get into it, that have some money saved up, how it looks for somebody who kind of knows what they're doing, just figuring out how they go, and just pivoting my content and trying to stay relevant. Because the name of the game is relevant. If I think successful people adapt. And so that's what I'm trying to do now, is slowly adapt into taking the audience that I have and bring them along this next venture of my life.
Which might actually be an actual job that becomes the content.
100%.
Right? Like you're saying, which videos about home flipping or something that you're doing to actually make money to keep your content money going as well.
And another thing too is Snapchat is a crazy another revenue of income.
That's not new though, is it?
It's not new, but they've updated the app just like Instagram's updated their apps. They have Reels now and stuff because TikTok came around. It blew everything out of the water. Nobody could keep up, compete.
When you say Reels, does that mean you can have a video?
So if you have an Instagram page, you have pictures, right? And then you have, if you swipe across that picture grid, you have a reel section, which are like the videos you make, just like a TikTok thing. So if you're on Instagram ever and you're scrolling and it's kind of just different videos pop up, those are reels that you're watching. So they've adapted TikTok's kind of way of doing things to theirs to try to keep up. Snapchat's done the same thing, similar to them. But the payout's crazy with that. And the thing I like about that is that's something you can do forever. So Snap, for instance, a day of Snap and what that looks like would be, it's not like Instagram posts or TikTok post. It's a very casual day in the life. Take a picture of your breakfast, post it. Take a picture of your workout, post it. Like my shoes, post it. My wheel in my car, post it.
I mean, for older people,
it sounds absolutely ridiculous.
No pun intended, but who's consuming this picture of breakfast?
Okay. So here's the deal. Look, the name, how
that's a wonderful post. That's a scrambled egg breakfast from Trent. Okay, great. I mean, what is this?
Okay. So listen, let's say, this is how the whole Snapchat thing works. You get verified on there through Snapchat, which can be kind of hard to do. My agency has got me verified on Snap to where you can get monetized. So if you have Snap and you have people that you follow, like your friends, and you have the page that shows all their stories, everybody on Snap will also have a discovery page, which is right below that, other creators that are verified that you might not follow Snapchats. And so people are sometimes very smart, like girls. I'm talking about money I'm making. Dude, you wouldn't believe some of these women are bringing in.
Sex sales?
Oh, dude, $500,000 a month. You would not. It's stupid. These girls are 22, 21.
What are they having to do to make this money?
Not a lot. Not a lot at all. So like, I know some chicks making like 40, 50 grand off Snapchat. And it's just
a picture of them in a bathing suit.
Yes. So they'll do a very kind of seductive pic, this, and they'll post it. And you want to, and so like, say you see that thumbnail and you want to click to get to it. You say, why are you clicking to watch the breakfast? People will click through all their snaps to get to that thirst trap thumbnail. Like, girls are smart. It's the way, the Snapchat team will tell you to market it. Like, if you're a fitness guy, your thumbnail might be like, you won't believe the best thing to eat to get shred or something. Someone wants to click all the way through to get to that. But then those views add up. And the more views you get in between those clicks, an ad will pop up. And then you can click right through. But those ads is what pays.
This is all a management company doing the same thing with Snapchat that they did for you with TikTok.
So this is a different management company.
But it's the same business model.
It's basically, we're going to help you get verified on Snap so that you can get monetized and make money. And we're taking 20% of whatever you make the first year. And after that, all of it's yours.
Are they going to run the Snap for you?
No. So that's a me thing. That's
okay.
They give me the tools I need to make the money that they make, the insight. They've been doing it for 10 years, at least 20 snaps a day. They'll say most of our creators will just take pictures throughout the day. And then later at night when they get in bed, upload all of them at once. So they're not constantly feeling like they have to upload stuff all day, and they can just live a little bit, and they'll do it at night. That's an easier way to do it. But it is ridiculous. I tell people all the time on social media,
I mean, if they're going to pay it, you're saying, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing, for instance, that
I'm going to do it because I know how to do it now. I've taught myself how to do this, and I can have people all over the country in numbers pay a little bit that adds up to a bunch if I can come up with something
Correct.
Interesting.
So that's what I've somehow managed to be able to do a little bit. I talked to my brother about it. He is out in Dallas. He does gives businesses their worth and their value, works with a company that kind of like gives them projections of their year, like numbers, all that type of stuff. And I'll hear him talk to buddies about it here, asking me questions. And he's just like, you got to kind of have an eye for it, I guess. Like it's something like he's good with numbers, stuff like that. I'm not that way, but I know social media. I know how to like keep stuff getting views. I know that if one thing pops off, don't just do it 4 times next time in a row. People are going to get annoyed. Like we saw that, you know what I mean? Like rotate it around for the next time. So when they see it, they're like, oh, it's the same kind of reaction. You know, you gotta, it is time consuming a little bit. I'm not going to say, oh, it's the hardest job in the world or anything like that.
And nobody's going to believe that.
Yeah, not at all. Because you have these girls be like, it's so exhausting being a content creator, like blah, 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 blah.
Yes, I'm sure that the garbage truck driver feels for you.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But like, man, I don't think that. I think it can be time consuming in the terms of like, you need to be on your toes thinking about ideas all the time because you got to stay relevant. I've been able to, I never posted 3 times a day on TikTok. I never was a full content. I would pick something. If it went viral and got like 3 million views, in my mind, I would have another week or 2 to come up with something else to blow up because, and this is where I felt like I shot myself in the leg. Not really, but when you have another platform like OF that you don't put any effort into, you're making that much money. You don't have the drive necessarily that I need to post to make money for these brands and stuff. So I could go a whole month and only post 3 times on TikTok. As long as it gets a decent amount of views, I'm going to funnel all that money into there and blah, 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 which is fine. It's great, right? Get to the money while I can, make it while it's good. But for longevity purposes, I've started getting into the discipline factor of let's act like that money's not there, which is what I should have been doing from the beginning. And
put it where? In a bank?
Well, that's what I've been doing anyways. Yes.
Account?
But I've been putting it away regardless. But what I'm saying in terms of acting like it's not there, grind as if you'll have no money to make to where you you can get Brent, you can keep growing your following and stuff like that.
That's how I work.
Yeah.
I grind like I don't have anything.
Yeah. Like your back's against the wall.
That mentality every single day. One day passes, a week passes, a month passes, a year passes, and you look and you can't believe what you've done. Now, what do you say to young people? The 22-year-old Trent Williams back in the day starting off that says, hey, I want to do what Trent did. I want to be a content creator and make this money. Is that even possible?
Oh, man. I would say yes. There'd be like some things I would do a little bit differently, probably.
Is it even available the same way now that it was when you came up?
So, yes, I've seen it. Not as much, and I would say almost not as easy. It's so saturated now. Right. Everybody and their mom has TikTok.
This is what drives the American, people to act crazier and crazier in order to get noticed.
So that's, yes. And I'll speak on this too, because even though it's what I do for a job and it's been a huge blessing for me in a lot of parts of my life, there's a whole toxic side of that I personally don't like. And even having a kid, I'm scared of and want him to have really nothing to do with the social media side of things, just with where it's headed and just that what access people have like to whatever.
Do you think this eventually, has a bell curve and burns out because of maybe mental health problems, not only for the people that are addicted to their phones or whatever, but also the content creators? You're constantly having to be on there to learn anything.
That's what I meant by saying it's not hard, but it is mentally exhausting.
Right. People are...
And at one point, I want to speak on this too, because this is something that if anyone's hearing, they could take from. I had a big problem of when I started that and became what I did for a living and how I made my money, it also became how I viewed my success or myself. Like if videos weren't blowing up, I would think, oh my gosh, it didn't get 2 million views.
Rejection.
I'm not a good, like I'm a piece of shit. Or like it's the craziest thing. But my mood became reliant on my performance on social media at a point in time when I was super young, to a point where I really had to step back and be like, dude, none of these people follow you to be like, how many views is he getting? They're following you because they have interest in you. They just want to see you. You're the only one worried about that. You're the business part of it. Like people want to see authenticity. Just post. You know what I mean? Be yourself. Don't try to. And that's something I wish I could tell my younger self or anyone starting off, that your value's not based off your like count and view count, which can be very hard for somebody who's a content creator and that's what they're doing.
Isn't there some type of, neuroscience here? People talking about dopamine from getting likes.
Man, that was a struggle
thing.
That was a struggle too, to be honest, and it sounds so silly and maybe shallow, but like when you post back in the day when I talk about like the funny trends that you would do, like beat of a song and like go like this too, and then pause the video, have your shirt off, then have your shirt and bunched up and pull it and make it look like it just pops off with like a cowboy hat on. I've done that a couple times and it get like 1.5 million likes, not even views. I got like 10 million views. And you get like all these comments that, whatever, but it is an endorphin. It's like, oh, look at all this. It's like a drug hit.
Have you ever gotten comments that were negative and that bothered you?
So that's something I think I've been decently good at maneuvering through the negativity, because I know anything that's going to go viral is going to have negative and positive things. Like the most viral stuff is going to have people. A lot of my viral stuff come from people arguing about. I posted something that'll be like, "But who do you vote for?" Or "He's a Trumper, though."
Right.
And then you have these people arguing, and there's
just because you're from Texas.
Texas, or I'm dressed country or something like that. I did a Glorilla. She's a black rapper, and I love her music. I think like some of her music gets me lit. I was out at my land the other day. I hadn't posted in a while, and so I did something. I had a beer or whatever, so I just cracked it. I had the song playing. I was just drinking it or whatever, and it blew up. But all these comments were like basically saying, thinking since I voted for Trump or that I voted for Trump, that you shouldn't be listening to black rap music, and that you're automatically a homophobic racist and stuff like. I'm like, first off, some of my best friends are black. Right. Second off, a lot of the money I make from the LGBTQ, so shout out to them. I have no judgment towards anybody. Like, I really don't. Like, just don't put that on me. And
I mean, people that aren't from here would be surprised how wrong they are about how it is here.
Yeah, 100%.
We talked about your biggest pay, but what is you probably in your mind have your record for the most follows or likes or the most viral thing that you ever posted. Like, what are we talking about? 1 million, 2 million? What?
I did one video, and the funniest thing about TikTok is my most viewed videos that I've made have been like the most least amount of effort I've put into them.
Yeah, I mean,
and I've done ones where
there's no rhyme or reason to this.
Oh no, sometimes it's just ridiculous. But I had one video get like almost 20 million views and like almost 2.6 million likes, and it was literally me walking. Had a shirt on, had boots on, jeans on.
I mean, who are these people, and what are they doing? They're just sitting there, and they see a guy walking they don't know, and they just like it, and that's it.
Well, to be honest, my niche and stuff are probably like like an older woman sees it, send it to a friend group in a Facebook thing.
Hey, this guy's cute,
Or like, you get comments, they don't make them like how they make them nowadays. Or, just stupid stuff. But I think I've gotten to the point now, since I've grown a little bit, been through kind of some stuff that I've been through in this life, that like I have a different viewpoint on it. Like, views and comments are nice and stuff like that. I just don't think twice into them, really.
All right. I saved the best for last. People have heard, California, Santa Monica, Los Angeles. I'm sure there's been Las Vegas. I'm sure there's been Miami.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been a lot of fun places that you went to that you'd never been before.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's been people you've met that are famous that you never would have met because of this.
No.
Tell us some of the people that you've gotten to meet in some of these, visits where they fly you out to basically endorse a product or something.
Yeah. So, I have like 3 that come to my head that were like the really cool ones, but like that'll never happen again, probably.
I mean, probably not.
Yeah,
right?
No. But so the opening of Fontainebleau in Vegas, the hotel 2 years ago, came up, and so I got invited. My management group told me to be an influencer that comes just to post about the opening of it. So I had no too much detail about it, other than I thought a lot of people would be doing
your management just say go, or did you get invited?
So I got invited. I had to connect out there through people I met that are plugged into Vegas and stuff too. But my management company did get reached out about, coming out there as an influencer to help promote the event, the opening of the hotel. So the cool thing about it, and I get there to this thing, and I come to find out it's 1,000-person guest list.
That's not very big.
Not very big. It opened at 6 p.m. And the hotel was only for the 1,000 people guest list until midnight. And then they opened the hotel to the
because the hotel had not been opened yet.
Yeah. So it was kind of their opening event. Justin Timberlake, they paid him $6 million to perform for 1 hour.
Okay.
There.
So Justin's almost like a social influencer for the opening, like you are.
Yeah, just
right?
a bigger scale.
$6 million to come out there to drag the high rollers out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
He's the bigger fish. Yeah.
Right.
So we get there and I run into Tom Brady, Sylvester Stallone. I got pictures on my phone. What's his name that plays off Breaking Bad? Walter White is his character.
Bryan Cranston.
Ryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
I walked right up to him. It's on the tip of my tongue. There's a quote he says in that series. It's like very famous.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
Oh, he laughed. We got a picture, and because a lot of those people,
I'm sure he's heard that from 1 million people. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, 1 million people, but
hey, how about don't get hurt twice? I'm getting tired of hearing it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. But what was so interesting is like those 1,000 people, they were all like majority just famous too. So it was a very casual kind of get together for majority of people other than, I'm
Who
there.
Who did they think you were?
Well, so that was kind of funny. I guess they maybe assumed I was somebody.
Like a escort or what?
No. I mean, they obviously knew I was on social media, did social media stuff, like influencer wise, but they don't know like what detail and capacity of like following that I had. But there was other big influencers out there as well.
But nobody cares because they figure since you're there, you're probably going to help them in some way.
Well, the hotel is paying me to help them just for the promotion part of it.
Right.
The 1,000-person guest list, who knows how much some people were getting paid just to be there. And everyone was kind of overall nice. Marshawn Lynch was not nice.
He wasn't.
Man, I hated that because I thought he was funny.
He's grouchy?
Yeah, he was a dick, but I don't know if he just wasn't in the mood. I didn't really approach him in a way that was anything crazy, but we get to the theater venue where Justin Timberlake was going to perform, and I'm sitting there, just standing there, kind of getting ready, It's a huge venue and no seats, barely any. It's not full at all because there are only 1,000 people in there. You got Tom Brady over to the right, and back the Kardashians are back behind me, and then the Nelk boys, if like Steve will do it, and those type of guys are right here. And I look next to me, and Marshawn Lynch is just sitting there right to me. He's just chilling by himself. And so I'm kind of shell shocked. Wait a minute. And I'm thinking, well, what can I say? And so I walked over to him. Because you got to remember, he's in a environment that he's not going to probably get people asking for pictures because everyone is kind of famous there. You know what I mean? To an extent.
Yeah. I mean,
so I went up to him and I said, hey, he was just kind of like, what's up or something. And I was like, I'm not trying,
And when you said it, it ruined the mood.
Just something was off. I don't know if he was in a bad.
Like, hey, can we get a picture?
So I was like, I said, if not, it's okay, but can we get a pic? I was trying to tell him, if not, it's fine. And he just was like, nah, and kind of like turned. And so I was just like, all right, all good. But I was like, okay, that's kind of strange, like a little like odd. But other than that, all the other interactions I had, everyone was super, super cool. Sylvester Stallone was kind of a little stickler though. Like I made him get a pic with me, but he didn't want one. Like he was like, all right, come on, while we're walking. And I'm just like, all right. And I went to put like the boxing thing up and he put my head down. I was like, no. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you don't want to be known for that. Sorry, but that's what you're known for. You're Rocky.
He didn't want to be a meme.
Well, yeah. And I really wasn't coming at him as like a deal because I've had people come up to me, not to that capacity, but a lot of times in the South at concert events, hey, can I get a picture with you? They probably get it so much that it's annoying. For me, I'm like, oh, you're making my day by asking. Why would you want a picture with me? So he probably was a little annoyed, but I knew I wasn't, like I said, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Do you think the best is probably behind you, or where do you think this is going from right now forward?
I think in terms of being single, young, and experiencing stuff like that, yes. I think in terms of free will, traveling, like the financial means and keeping content alive by pivoting into the other aspect, I think I can definitely keep that afloat. But yeah, I don't know. I'm in that transition of really figuring out how I can keep it up. Obviously, like I said, I've lived super below my means with the idea that this could all go away in 6 years, from the time you started, and then it could end in the next year or two and just completely, and you got to have something to, show for it. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I usually adapt and I hustle. So videos and views have still been up.
Well, what about this? There's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence, AI.
Oh, yeah.
Is AI going to replace the social influencer like they might, replace some type of programmer or coder or somebody like that?
So I think for social media side of things, like artists and stuff, it is crazy what AI. I mean, I'm sure
crazy.
you know.
I mean, I've seen
what
stuff
they
where,
can do. They'll put Drake's voice and they'll make up a rap song, and you'll think Drake said it, and almost might be just as good, if not better. It's insane to me.
We know this. We've done things.
Yeah.
We've made songs. We've never put somebody's likeness out there for me, but we've looked at it together, and we've had, Shaq look like he's endorsing me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it looks so real. And we're like, oh my God, this can't be legal, can it?
Okay, so it's getting to the point. I saw something pop up on TikTok. Excuse me, I'm spitting error. Pop up on TikTok a couple days ago, and it was like a test, and they had two videos that were very similar. So it was like a video of a group of like chicks in like a cage, and then another video of a group of chicks. It's like the same type
Which one is real?
Which one's real? Out of 6 of them, I guess 4 right. And I thought I guessed all of them right.
Yeah.
By a couple years, I won't know the difference.
No, that's right.
And that's where it gets super, super, super dangerous. So to answer your question, who knows? I don't think any good for what they're wanting is going to come out of it.
Right, it might be like entertainment. Entertainment's going to be hard to take over with AI. Like a stand-up comedian live is going to be interesting to people, I would think,
100%.
always. It's going to be tough to have a hologram of somebody telling jokes and that be the same experience.
Yeah, I've heard of people that are really good at AI, know how that whole thing works, make AI chicks with a whole identity, Instagram page. I've seen it. Now, I can tell it's obvious.
Are we talking about chicks and the chicken? Or are we talking about chicks and the women?
Yeah, broads, chicks and the women.
Okay. All right.
So, but like they've come up with this.
Yeah, well,
AI.
It's like your business. I think I'm talking to this woman, and I'm paying money, and she's looking good.
Yeah, but she's completely fake. Now, I'm not saying anyone with the brain at this point can kind of tell something's off, like it's not real. But a lot of people I've come to find out, and I hate to say this, don't have common sense out there.
Right, but I mean, this could be like casinos. Casinos own the gambling licenses and consolidate all of this. People could consolidate all of this online, talking to each other from robots or bots or whatever. And eventually,
So that's what they're already doing. There are people that have made these AI generated women that look kind of somewhat real and make an Instagram page, have an OF page. Somehow they're able to get around it because you have to send your ID and all this stuff to be set up as like a creator on that platform.
Can you just see?
But that I've read pulling in an extra 15, 20 grand a month off a fake person.
I mean, I could see, the mafia, modern day, stuff getting into this. Like, like it used to be in Vegas and gambling, and there's always some type of rackets where you set up these fake people and they make money and you get the money. I mean,
no, it is. It's
that says this might not be around forever, don't you think?
So another side of this, not even trying to get political at all, but in terms of the propaganda and the swing it can have on like not even the youth, but just anyone on social media.
Right. I mean,
you don't know what to believe in.
Right. I mean, that's true. But this has been an interesting conversation for me. I'm older. I've learned a lot.
Heck yeah.
It looks like you benefited. You were in the right window of time to at least make some money, and hopefully you can transition to a different occupation in the future and stay in this as long as you can. But
heck yeah.
Anyway, Trent, thanks for being here with us today on Unfiltered.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob.
All right.
Yes, sir.
My time right now.